Hannah and Hugo, a yoga story about creating a balanced life, written by Giselle Shardlow, illustrated by Simon J. Williams, read by Jack Rotundi. Hugo sighed deeply. It was the first day of summer vacation, and he was sitting on a swing in his backyard reading his favorite book. Hugo was enjoying the peace and quiet when suddenly he heard the loud beep, beep, beep of a large truck backing up. Hugo jumped off the wooden swing and peeked through a hole in the fence to see where the noise was coming from. Curious, he watched as movers climbed out of the moving truck and went into the front yard of the house next door. Music blared as they started carrying furniture and cardboard boxes into the house. So much for a peaceful afternoon, Hugo grumbled to himself. He went back to his swing to read, but the commotion on the other side of the fence drew him back to the hole. Boo! A girl's eyes appeared on the other side of the hole, and Hugo nearly toppled over backward. He scrambled to regain his balance and stammered, "Who are you?" "I'm Hannah, and I love gymnastics and gumballs. We're your new neighbors. Aren't you going to invite me over?" she asked, while somehow scrambling over the fence. In complete shock, he replied, "I'm Hugo." "We just drove here all the way from California. Have you ever driven that far before? It was far. But we drove up the coast, and the ocean was beautiful. Do you ever go to the ocean? We do. Well, at least we did until my dad got a new job here. But I was so excited to move here, even though I miss my friends already. I'll make new friends, right? Do you want to be my friend?" The words tumbled out of her mouth in one breath. Who is this girl? Hugo wondered to himself. He had never met anyone who talked so much and so fast. At first he just stared at her in disbelief, but moments later a smile emerged on his face. "Want to see my treehouse?" Hugo asked, pointing to the corner of his backyard. Hannah was already climbing the ladder to the treehouse before he finished his sentence. "Gosh, she's fast," he whispered to himself. "Hannah!" a voice called from next door. "Gotta go. See you tomorrow," said Hannah, as she jumped down and dashed toward her new home. Hugo went back to reading his book, but he had a hard time concentrating. His mind was full of questions about Hannah. Why was she so fascinating? Did she always talk this much? Where did she get all her energy? The next day, as Hugo was watering the little garden he'd planted with his parents, Hannah peeked through the hole in the fence. "Hey, Hugo, come over to my house. My parents just put up the trampoline. I love trampolines, don't you? They make me feel like I'm flying, but I'm not really. It just feels like it. Plus, I get to practice my gymnastics. Do you do gymnastics?" Hugo hesitated for a moment before putting down the watering can. Then he carried a stepladder to the fence and carefully climbed over into Hannah's backyard. "Come on, I'll teach you to flip," Hannah said, beckoning him. Hugo took a moment to look around the yard. There were soccer balls, jump ropes, and hula hoops in one corner. A swing and a high balance beam were in the other corner. And in the middle of the yard was a magnificent trampoline with netting all around it. He was in awe. They played together on the trampoline for what seemed like hours, and Hugo could feel his smile growing bigger as the day went on. The following day, as Hugo was setting up his chess set in the backyard, Hannah climbed over the fence and sat cross-legged on one of the tree stump stools. "Have you ever played chess?" Hugo asked her. "No, but teach me. I never have time to play games. You know what I mean? So many things to do." Hannah leaned over, ready to listen. Hannah and Hugo played chess under the shade of the tree that day. At one point, Hugo stopped to feel the breeze on his face and listen to the birds chirp. What a fun summer this is, he thought to himself, looking over at his new friend, who was concentrating hard on the game. The long summer seemed to go on and on. Every day, Hugo and Hannah spent time together. They practiced yoga. They played games. And on a rainy day, they played inside. Then, one day, Hugo saw Hannah and her family packing up the car. "We're just going on vacation for a few days. Back soon," Hannah shouted from the window. Hugo felt a sadness wash over him, realizing he was going to miss the action-packed days with his new neighbor. While Hannah was away, Hugo's friend Ben came over. They played basketball in the driveway. They traded baseball cards and drank lemonade. But when Hugo suggested that they do some gymnastics on the grass, Ben wasn't interested. Even though it was good to see his friend again, Hugo couldn't help but feel like something was missing. Hugo spent the next few days cleaning up his room, reading in the backyard, and watching television. Then, one day, while he was shooting hoops, Hannah's car pulled into her driveway. "I missed you," Hannah said as she came running over. "I missed you too," Hugo replied with a smile. "It was such a crazy busy trip with my family, but I missed having quiet time like at your house. Can we go in your backyard and play chess?" Hannah asked, and off they went. "Checkmate," Hugo said. "I missed you too, Hannah. I missed all the fun stuff we do together. I missed all the energy you have. It was a little too quiet without you." Hugo was shocked at the words tumbling out, but it felt good to get it off his chest. "I had my friend Ben over, but it was really boring. We didn't really do anything. I bet you'd like him, though. Maybe we can show him your trampoline one day." "Of course," Hannah said. "You know what I realized when I was away? We need a little of both. Some busy times and some quiet times. We can burn our energy doing gymnastics, but then also have some downtime reading and playing chess, okay?" "Sounds perfect," Hugo said. Hugo thought back to all those weeks ago when he'd imagined that he was going to have a long, boring summer. And then everything changed when his new friend climbed over his fence. Now he understood how much he could love being active as well as having quiet time. It was a perfect balance for a perfect summer.